Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News, April 17th, 2019. And folks, we're going to be taking a look at the FAA weather cams. Are they showing spaceships and planets in the sky? Folks, earlier today during my live stream, a lot of you wanted me to take a look at another YouTube channel called The Final Days. And I have to apologize to Mary Greeley. I actually got you mixed up with another lady. And that was due to the fact of all of the emails that I was getting about checking out a specific channel. And I believe some of these folks were mixing your name up with this other lady who has this YouTube channel, The Final Days. After reviewing and taking a look at some of these videos like I was asked to, I recognized the voice, and I've actually had some email conversations back and forth with this lady probably a little more than a year ago. I think she's had maybe 2 or 3 different YouTube channels over the course of time, and she specifically deals with these FAA weather cams. And folks, you know, look, there's a lot to do with these FAA weather cams, and I'm going to go over this information with you because I've investigated these cameras many years ago. I've done some more homework on them today. I'm going to get right to the information, and let's do that. What I'm going to do is we're going to talk about real quick. We're going to talk about apertures. And apertures, that's the little shutter mechanism in the center of a camera lens, whether it be a digital camera or the old-fashioned 35mm film camera. The aperture is made up of a number of interlocking diaphragm blades that open to allow the light into the camera. Now, here's the thing, folks. These apertures, the shape of these apertures can be different. They could be hexagon, they could be octagon shape, they could be round, they can be square, they can be triangular. Hell, they even have inserts that you can put a heart-shaped aperture in there. And that aperture allows that light to come through. When that light comes through, it is hitting a sensor inside of a digital camera. And these FAA cameras, they are not the best quality of cameras, and they do produce light anomalies in their photographs. The majority of these FAA cameras, they also have weather detection devices on them. This is kind of a typical setup. They have rain detectors, temperature, humidity. Some of them are powered by little solar panels. Some of them are also powered by electricity. Now, the data goes through the internet to its main host, which would be naturally a computer. And this is not video. These are only still photographs that are taken every few minutes and so on and so forth. And there is a difference between the cameras in Alaska, the US, and the cameras in Canada. They use 2 totally different camera types. And we'll get into all of that information here shortly. This is a prime example of what these data stations look like. And a lot of times, especially in Canada and Alaska, they use these weather cameras and these weather devices to monitor road conditions and naturally weather conditions. Let me take a sip of my kiwi flavored Red Bull. It's damn good stuff. So they do rely heavily on these weather cams because they're able to access this data instantly and issue warnings for travelers. So that's one of the main reasons why they have them. Also, you know, it has to do with pilots. And those are like your normal bush pilots throughout Alaska and different parts of Canada. You can actually buy a weather cam system for your house. Quite expensive. You can put the different components on it. You can wire that baby right down through your roof into your computer. And some of the cameras are quite sophisticated. This one might not last too long depending on the weather, but it rotates all around, and this camera is also looks like it has night vision on it. You can see right here where you'll be able to see crystal clear in the nighttime, usually in 720 to 1080p resolution, and that's a pretty nice little setup there. Not too many of us can afford that. But anyways, folks, you all asked me to take a look at this Final Days channel. I did just that. I spent hours researching a lot of the data. I only had to listen to, I think, 2 of the videos. I went back, I researched the actual photographs that were being shown, what was being said, and look, folks, I've read a bunch of the comments under my live stream earlier today, and you got to remember, I had a lot of people asking me to review that article about the large planet in the sky from my live stream this morning. And I did just that. And I showed you the proof. I showed you the evidence. It was crystal clear. But yet, still people out there want to criticize what I had to say, even though I showed you the actual proof that it was the moon. And there were many people in the live chat this morning telling me, oh, no, you need to go look at this YouTube channel, Final Days. And I said that I would. And I got 129 emails over the course of the last couple of hours, asking me, did I look at this YouTube channel? What did I find? Is this lady telling us the truth? What is she seeing in the sky? Is that a spaceship? Is the spaceship towing a sun simulator? And I'm like, what the hell? Anyways, I went back, researched some of the data in the videos, pulled it up for myself, took some screenshots, analyzed the photographs, and I've been through these FAA webcams years ago. I've been through the ones in the webcams from Mexico. Folks, very, very tricky photography when it comes to these webcams. So I'm going to explain some things to you right now. With the FAA webcams in Alaska, their cameras aren't that good. You see this blue band up here? Whenever you see the blue band in the information band, that is the Alaskan cameras. When you access the Canadian cameras, they use different cameras. They are newer, and you'll see a black band up here. And that's going to come into play with what I'm about to show you. There were some, I guess, remarks made about in the video about that being a planet or a spaceship towing a sun simulator. That was supposed to be a pink planet, but in actuality, folks, it's just a light, a lens flare from the overexposure of the direct light. This little round dot that you see right here, this is the actual aperture in these cameras that the FAA uses in Alaska. They're not that great. Okay, so the aperture is actually round. And later on, you're going to see the apertures in the cameras in Canada are triangular. Okay, so these apertures, the shutter, that plays a very, very key role in what you're actually going to see. Now, remember, these cameras are exposed to extreme temperatures, and they are all encased in either a plexiglass box, some type of encasement, because they have to be because of the extreme temperatures. And if not, they would just be destroyed. It's as simple as that. Even on the FAA website, they tell you that. This was a negative that I took of that photograph, and well, it looks like a frown face right there. But folks, all that is just the lens flare from the aperture in the center of the lens. That's it. This is just the lens flare. That is not a planet or a spaceship towing a sun simulator. I mean, I don't know. You know, if you guys want to believe all of that's cool. This photograph, I went back and I pulled this out of the FAA because this was a photograph that was in question. This was actually sent to me also in an email as a reference. So I went back to the FAA spot where this came from, pulled it up for myself just to make sure. I guess in one of the videos, this was referenced as a pink planet with craters in it. As you can see up here, that's supposed to be the sun. That's supposed to be the pink planet with craters. One of the best things to do, folks, if you have the ability through software to turn photographs into negatives, sometimes it helps you bring out what's really lying underneath. Those are not craters. Those are moisture bubbles. Sometimes these cameras get moisture on the outside of the lens. Sometimes they get condensation on the inside of the lens. And when it's magnified, folks, that's what it looks like. So if any of you remember science class and biology class when you were in school, if you had it, and you were looking at liquid under a microscope, you would see these kind of bubbles. If you ever got moisture on your camera lens and took a photograph in the rain, you would probably end up seeing these types of anomalies. But that's all that is. That is not a huge pink planet in the sky with craters. Same thing here. We could zoom in. I created it into a high definition so it wouldn't pixelize. But, I mean, you could see, folks, those aren't craters. That is just magnified moisture or condensation that was on the lens at that time. And I have another photograph to show you that has a little splotch of dirt on the lens that could easily be shown as a planet. I took a screenshot of the same thing, and that's it. And you know, folks, we still don't know what this dot is in these FAA cameras. This is seen quite a bit. There are other cameras that produce this effect. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know if it has to do with the aperture in the camera. It may possibly be. Still under extreme investigation about that dot. But yeah, this is lens flaring. That is definitely not a planet in the sky. That is definitely not a spaceship towing a sun simulator across the sky. This was the photograph that I was referencing just a few minutes ago about the dirt spot on the lens. Now, up here, these are the Canadian cameras. They have a black information band across them. The Canadian cameras are more up-to-date and newer than the ones in the U.S., okay? They use a newer digital camera system, and I'm going to show you the difference. So if I took this still shot, and you could see it's kind of pixelated, and I said, wow, look at that. You know, there's a big brown planet in the sky, and this is just all that I showed you. And I'm like, look, it's being trailed by another planet up here. Well, that right up there was probably the sun or sun simulator breaking through the clouds, but this was nothing more than a speck of dirt, and I have the actual video and I'll show it to you. This was just referencing that same photograph that we looked at in the negative. This is another photograph, went back and pulled through the FAA from one of the videos. This was referenced as this being a spaceship towing the sun simulator and towing, I don't know, maybe a lens or something like that, and trying to block this big pink planet. But the problem is, folks, that's not a pink planet. That's not a spaceship. The aperture in the FAA cameras is round. It's round. So you're going to have these round aperture lens flares in direct sunlight photographs because it overloads the sensor in the camera. And we're going to talk more about that. Same thing with this photograph. You do have the, I believe that is probably the aperture in these photographs. I don't believe that that is our real sun. I do believe that that is a sun simulator. This was referenced as being, I believe, a planet with debris around it right there. But again, folks, that's nothing more than the aperture reflection because the camera's being overloaded by the direct light. Cameras are not made to be focused into direct light. They're just not. No matter what kind of camera you have, you're going to get some type of overloading effect when using a digital camera on the sensor. If you watch this actual video clip, you'll see the planet crashes into the lake and then moves all the way around. Okay, so again, that's nothing more than the aperture in the camera. Same thing here, same photograph, next frame, and you can start to see more of the lens flaring, and now the planet has crashed into the lake. It burned out. But in actuality, folks, it makes its way boom, 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 all the way across as the sun goes doot, 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 doot across the sky. Same thing here. You have an overexposed lens flare right there. It is not a burning planet underneath the sun. In the prior clips, the pink lens flare is over here as it starts to move with the movement of the sun or sun simulator. We'll just call it the light. It becomes overexposed because it is a direct shot from the camera, and the light is directly into the camera, and the lens flare is actually overexposed. And that's all you're getting here. You're getting some flaring from the overexposure of the light. Same thing here. This is just more overexposure from the camera. Very highly pixelated. They just use very low resolution cameras. Same thing here. This is an FAA Alaskan webcam. Again, you can signify that by the blue band in the information border on the top. This was referenced as being a planet, I think, on the horizon. And again, folks, you know, nothing more than the aperture reflection. And you can see in the next frame that this planet makes its way, crashes onto the roof over here. And bingo, there it is. So it went from there on the horizon to there. And then it ricocheted off of the top of the tin roof and fell onto the ground. Here's the bubbles again. Again, nothing more than moisture magnified within that lens flare and within the camera housing. Oh, there's the two Mohammeds. I am going to jump over here to this video that I've put together for all of you, and we can actually now go ahead and see some of this. And there's that little dirt circle. And I'm going to go ahead and stop this for 1 second. Let's just back that up just a little bit. Now we're into the Canadian webcams. Again, you could signify that by the black information band up here. Remember, the Alaskan one is blue. The Canadian ones are black. The Canadians have newer cameras, and you see this pink line. This is not Project Bluebeam. This is not a laser beam being shot down from the sun simulator. It's not a UFO shooting down a laser beam. This is due to overexposure into certain types of digital cameras. I have a $600-700 digital camera, and when I take direct shots into the sun, I get this same pink line. And it is due to overexposure on the sensor internally in the camera. This is a dirt spot that must have splashed up from rain, wind, and hit dead center in the middle of the camera. So I'll let this go ahead and play out. And, you know, I mean, if you stop this at certain points, like this still shot I showed you guys, yeah, that could look pretty anomalous, huh? Yeah, that one too. Ooh, boy, that would look really freaking good in a YouTube video. But then when you actually know what it is, it's nothing more than a dirt spot. And, you know, it is what it is, folks. Look, like I said, I've been doing this for a long, long time. A long time. I've studied photography for years. I have a friend of mine who is a professional photographer for more than 35 years. You know, he has his own studio. I consult with him all the time about things like this. And he has educated me quite a bit over the years. And I've done my own research and my own investigations into all of this. And, you know, I just want to say this. I got a bunch of emails after my live stream and, you know, a lot of shitty comments from people. And, you know, oh, you shouldn't call out other YouTube channels. Well, listen, folks, you know, I'm in the so-called business of the truth community. Okay. I'm here to tell the truth. If I see other people taking advantage of all of you and you are all asking me to take a look at this, take a look at that, take a look at this, take a look at that, and I give you my opinion and you get mad and call me names. I had one subscriber of this Final Days. What an idiot. He sends me a horrible death threat about wanting to shoot me and blow my head off. Well, that's fine. You can, you know, take your best shot at that and come knock at my door. I'm not hard to find, but I can't guarantee that you'll make it home. But anyways, these Canadian cams are completely different. They have a different aperture, and I'm going to show you exactly what that aperture looks like. You see that little triangle up there? Well, that is not a UFO. It is not a ship towing a sun simulator. As you can see, the aperture on the Canadian cameras is triangular. You can see it right here. When these cameras get overloaded with direct light like this, it overloads the sensor. And what you're truly seeing is you're seeing the internal reflection of the aperture. The aperture is the little tiny hole where the light goes through. I mentioned that in the beginning of this video. So we'll go ahead and let that continue to play. But I stopped it right there so you guys can see that. And you know, it's going to get better. Just watch. And again, these are the cameras from Canada. They are totally different from the cameras in the US. So as this plays through, you'll start to see as the sun starts to come down, you'll start to see that triangular aperture. And we're also going to be able to get an internal reflection of the actual camera housing. I think that's going to be coming up here real soon. And you see all these lines going through. That's just overexposure. Now, you see these faint circles here? You see the faint circle? Okay, now you're looking at the internal reflection of the actual camera lens. And this is the aperture in the center of that camera. Let's let that play. We'll get a little bit of a better look at it. I stopped it right there because you can see the sun is directly up above here. It's overexposed the sensor in the digital camera, and dead center you have the triangular aperture, and you can see the reflection in the casing of the actual lens. It's all magnified, but you can clearly see it. But we'll go ahead and let that continue to play. You can see it. You can actually see the reflection of the internal lens in the housing. And remember, folks, a lot of these cameras are not just out there sitting on a pole. A lot of them are encased in like plexiglass boxes or other types of domes. A lot of you have sent me these photographs from this bloom sky. Wow, those are the worst to watch because they use a fisheye lens. So no matter what, you're going to get all kinds of distortions. That's a fact. So again, folks, that pink spaceship right there. I'm sorry to say, but it's not towing the sun simulator around in the sky. It has made its landing inside of that camera, and that's where it's going to stay. So, and you could see a better view of it. But I'll just let this go ahead and play out. And again, the pink line is not a laser beam. It's not a spaceship shooting a laser beam down. It's not Project Blue Beam, whatever you want to call it. It's not HARP. It's not anything of that nature. It is an overexposure of the sensor in the digital camera. I have a camera, and my 35mm digital camera does the same damn thing. But I don't get that effect on a cell phone because the little internal cameras in a cell phone totally different. But you can see, again, you have the triangular spaceship, and it's being overloaded by all of the little triangles, and that is light scattering. So again, folks, you know, I've studied cameras and optics. I've looked deeply into these FAA cameras for years. You know, you're not going to be seeing planets in the sky. You may spot a UFO, but it's not going to look like that little blue dot zipping by. I mean, that's nothing more than the overexposure of the camera. And hey, listen, folks, you know, you guys are, I mean, look, you know, we have free will. You can go and you can watch all these other YouTube channels, watch all of their videos and things of that nature. You know where I stand with all of it. But whenever you ask me to take a look at something, hundreds of you ask me to take a look at something, and I do, and I give you my opinion on it, and then you hate my guts over it. You send me death threats and, you know, all these nasty comments. I mean, what's that all about? I mean, if that's going to be the case, then don't ask me any more questions. Don't ask me to look at videos. Don't ask me to go and critique somebody else's YouTube channel because you think they're showing you bullshit, or you want somebody with more knowledge to explain it to you. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So don't try to call me out, and, you know, don't sit there and criticize me after hundreds of you asked me to take a look at it. I mean, that's pretty stupid. I hate to be so brash, but it is what it is. And again, you guys are all free to believe whatever the hell you want to believe. But when you ask me for my opinion and I give it to you, don't get pissy with me. Don't get mad. And I know a lot of you have. Oh, don't you be calling her out. Oh, my God. You nasty pig. Well, one thing I know, folks, is, you know, the videos that I looked at were definitely not a spaceship, towing a sun simulator across the sky. And I definitely know for a fact that those are not pink planets in the sky with craters in them. Yeah. And I sure as hell don't think that you're seeing demons and angels and creatures and shit like that on these FAA webcams. But again, I mean, if you guys want to believe all of that, that's cool. You know? And then I get these people that leave these comments. Oh, that's it. I'm unsubscribing from your YouTube channel. Here's the thing, folks. If I see your comment that you're unsubscribing from my YouTube channel, do you think that I'm going to go hang myself? Do you think that it's going to be the end of the world for me because you unsubscribe from my YouTube channel? You can go ahead and unsubscribe, but I know this much. The minute I upload another video or the minute I start another live stream, you're going to be the first son of a bitch sitting there watching and listening to me. So don't try to trick me. Believe me, you know right where to go to get the real hardcore observational evidence pertaining to Planet X. I don't mean to sound so arrogant, but facts are facts. Don't try to trick me with your stupid comments. I don't care if you unsubscribe from my YouTube channel. I'm not here for some damn popularity contest. And by the way, a few of you that did say that you were unsubscribing from my YouTube channel, I went back into my subscriber list and I looked your names up, and guess what? You're still subscribed, you little liar. Yeah, so that psychological bullshit doesn't work on me. My mom was a professor of psychology. She taught at a university for many, many years. I grew up in the house of psychology, and your little reverse psychology does not work on me. Anyways, folks, that's what we're looking at here. We're not looking at triangular spaceships towing a sun simulator around in the sky, and the FAA webcams and the Alaskan cams, very, very tricky. They're not super sophisticated cameras. They are always getting overloaded with direct sunlight. And when you overload these cameras with direct sunlight, you are going to get anomalies that you see on your screen right now. So it is what it is. Look, you know, YouTube is out there for everybody to express themselves and make videos and do what they want to do. And that's all fine and dandy. But, you know, folks, we deal with a very touchy subject here. And, you know, YouTube has buried my YouTube channel into the depths of hell. I've been doing this on YouTube now since 2016. My YouTube channel, we have over 80,000 subscribers. And where are they? You know, like, where are these 80,000 subscribers? I should upload a video and, my God, we should have 40, 50,000 views in 24 hours, but that doesn't happen anymore. I don't know exactly what they do with my YouTube videos. I don't know if any of you guys get notifications. I don't know where all these subscribers have gone. But it is what it is. That's another main reason why I'm moving to the private network, because there are things that I can't talk about on YouTube. You know, they know what I'm doing. I can't talk about chemtrails. I can't talk about this. I can't talk about that. And it's getting to the boiling point. Earlier today, I received an email from YouTube based on the certified letters that my lawyer sent them based on our legal case with them right now. And, well, let's just say that it seemed like they're changing their tune a little bit, which is good. So we'll see what happens over the course of the next couple of days. Their internal email told me that They will be keeping me posted, and we'll see what happens from there. But it's never going to be good. Social media is so heavily censored right now. And when we're dealing with things that they consider to be a conspiracy, they're just never going to allow the exposure to go worldwide. And it is what it is. So you all asked me to take a look at this this YouTube channel, Final Days. I know who the lady is. I think this is her, I don't know, second, third, fourth YouTube channel. That's all I'm going to say. You know, learn about these cameras. You guys can go to the FAA website. Just go to Google, type in FAA webcams. You'll see the aviation website come up. Open up the map. You can click on the dots. You can watch the loops. You know, I mean, pretty much what we're looking at here when we do see this light object. You know, I'm pretty damn sure we're looking at the sun simulator, but we're sure as hell not looking at a spaceship towing the sun simulator across the sky. And I sure as hell don't think we're looking at, you know, big pink planets with craters in them. That's my professional opinion. I can give you a professional opinion on that because, look, I've been doing this for a long time. I've researched all of this. And I think even now, in this live stream, I've given you enough credible information, and you guys can go out, excuse me, you can go out and you could investigate this stuff for yourself and come to your own conclusions. And, you know, maybe take some still shots, maybe invest in some expensive software like I have. You know, I've got 5 computers running in my office. My one main computer, I have over $1,000 in just software that deals with videos and photographs. And you know, I analyze everything. I'm a very analytical person. That's what I do. So I don't like seeing people taken advantage of either. And when people are telling all of you that, you know, there's a spaceship out there towing a sun simulator through the sky, well, I think that's pretty stupid. I don't think that's even realistic. And then, again, when you guys ask me to check this out, and I do, and I give you my opinion, and I give you a credible opinion, and then you call me names? Wow! The hell kind of person are you? Don't you criticize her? Don't you criticize her channel? Now look, if you don't want me to criticize anybody, don't ask me to take a look at their data. Because whenever I do look at it, just like my own data, I pick it apart. That's what I do. I'm a very analytical person. There were some photographs that were sent in to me today. And, hey, look, folks, I'm going to give you a little bit of advice here. If you're going to send me photographs, don't take pictures through the windshield of your car. Don't take photographs through your screen door. Don't take pictures through your kitchen window, because you're going to have all kinds of problems with reflections from the glass. And to the one guy who sent me just a god-awful picture through his filthy screen door, hey, look, man, nothing I could do with that picture. I don't even know what the hell you wanted me to see. But, you know, I do my best to get to these photographs and stuff like that. But, yeah, bud, I don't know what the hell you were trying to show me there. But, and, you know, folks, don't try to take photographs through trees and things of that nature, because you're going to get deflections not diffractions. You're going to get deflections of light through branches and through limbs on these trees and things of that nature. You want to get clear photographs. And sometimes using the expensive 35 millimeter cameras is not that great. It's actually worse. Taking direct shots of the sun with a cell phone is sometimes better than using an expensive camera, because when you use the expensive 35 millimeter cameras, you get that big thick pink line that comes down through your photograph, like I showed you, that's coming up right here on your screen. Because my 35 millimeter camera has a 50 power zoom lens on it, and if I take a direct shot in sunlight, I get that horrible pink beam. And again, that is just an overloading of the internal sensor. So all of you have learned about apertures and the shutters in these cameras. Remember, the FAA Alaskan cameras have a round aperture, and the Canadian ones have a triangular aperture in them. Two totally different cameras from two totally different manufacturers, and that pink triangle is not a UFO. I wish it was, but it's not. It's just the internal reflection of the aperture inside of the camera. That's all that it is. Folks, I'm sorry if I like to deal in facts. I mean, if you don't like me dealing in facts and you guys would like me to sit here and just fill your heads with a bunch of garbage, I mean, I could do that. It's not within my nature to do those kinds of things, but, if you all just say, hey, Scott, please fill our heads full of shit, we love it. That's not my deal. And as far as the article that we went through this morning in that live stream, I had people debating me, sending me emails telling me that I was absolutely wrong, that I lied. They called me a liar, even though I showed you guys from 2003, the actual photographer himself is a professional astrophotographer that took the damn photos. I can't help it that some, piece of crap website decided to search the internet for pictures and claim that it was, that it was a big planet seen in the sky over the Earth, when it was nothing more than the moon taken through an astrophotography telescope with the camera equipment attached to it. I mean, like, what? Did I make you cry because you wanted it to be real? Hey, listen, folks, I know there's a lot of you that are really, really looking forward to the last days, but I sure as hell ain't. I've got 2 kids in college. I'm 51 years old. I want to be able to grow much older. I want to see them grow up and do something with their lives. I hope to see some grandchildren in the maybe like 20 years from now. But yeah, man, I'm not looking for the end of days. I'm not looking for the earth to be destroyed. I mean, you guys are, when you talk that kind of shit, man, you're really negative. Now, yeah, we're going to be going through some very, very traumatic times here on Earth. We're going to be going through some major, major changes. But what does that actually say about your character? When you are looking forward to the end of days, what does that truly say about you? I mean, if you want my personal opinion, that tells me that you got no backbone. You've got no will to survive. You have no will to stand up and fight. Because that's what I do. I stand up and I fight for myself, and I fight for the truth to be brought out for all of you. So I'm not looking forward to this so-called end of days. I had a few people try to call me out about the video that I did about the 3 days of darkness. And I said, okay, well, the lady that was out there on YouTube, once again, that rumor was flying around. Oh, be prepared. We're going to be going through 3 days of darkness. Okay, well, we've all been being prepared for the last 5 years for the same damn hoax and rumor that spreads around social media about this 3 days of darkness. And hey, guess what? I don't know about you, but where I live, I haven't had 3 days of darkness yet. When it comes, it comes. But you know, folks, there are boatloads of hoaxes out there on social media and YouTube every single day. Every single day. I've seen them. They get played out over and over and over and over. And if you're so dead set on this end of days, I don't know what to tell you. But I don't talk about the end of days. I try to stay positive. I'm not a negative person. So please don't bring that, that Debbie Downer crap to my YouTube channel. I don't believe in this end of days. The earth will continue to go on like it has for billions of years, whether we are on it or not. But for right now, the present, we are here. This is our planet. And over the next 11 to 15 years, depending on how long this damn solar minimum lasts. I mean, they usually last 11 years, but there's some speculation out there that we could see the prolonged effects for 15 years. And we're only in the beginning stages of it. And we could see how wild the weather has become already. Folks, I'm a very compassionate person. It really does cut into me to hear on the news that 8 people lost their lives in, once again, tragic tornadoes in the South. And, a whole town wiped off the map. Maybe you consider that end of days. But as far as I'm concerned, I woke up the next day. And I'm still here. And I want to stay positive. But we are in for the fight of our lives over the next decade. That much is true. So I would advise all of you to literally come to terms with that. Forget about the end of days. Forget about this tribulation. Put all of that aside. Live for today and hope for a tomorrow. Don't be so damn negative. Even though things are going to get pretty scary over the next several years. We're already seeing it play out, folks. We got big problems with governments and politicians. We have big problems out there in our solar system. We all know that. We've got big issues. Instead of dividing, this would be the best time for unity. And I would really like to see some of these other YouTube channels that are filling your heads with a bunch of garbage to stop. But look, that's never going to happen. Too many personalities out there and too many people with other types of agendas. But my agenda here is simply to show you the truth and show you the evidence that I find. And I don't try to trick any of you like some of these other YouTube channels do. And some of you do fall for it because you don't know any better. You're just watching a video. I've invested over 20 years of
researching and reading and educating myself on a number of topics. And I just don't sit there and watch YouTube videos. I mean, I literally read. I read and read and read, and I educate myself. And I've been educating myself. I loved Earth space science as a kid. It was one of my favorite subjects. I never let it go. And, I continue. But again, let's not forget, for all of you that like to criticize, all of you asked me to take a look at that article, and you wanted my opinion. I gave you the truth, and you still called me names. And then there was a bunch of you that asked me to take a look at the information coming out of the YouTube channel Final Days, which I did. And I've shown you the information, and you can take it for what it is. As I say, it is what it is. My other saying is, I don't sugarcoat shit and call it candy. So we're not looking at spaceships towing the sun simulator across the sky. And in the evidence that I looked at, it's definitely not showing me pink planets in the sky. It's showing me lens anomalies. But hey, don't take my word for it. Do your own investigations. Do your own research. If I could help you in some way, let me know. But that's what I have for you, folks. And I will, from this point on, don't ask me to look at any more videos from this YouTube channel Final Days, because I just won't do it. So if you want to continue to watch what she puts out, that's fine. That's your prerogative. You want to unsubscribe from Planet X News, that's fine. That's your prerogative. But don't try to trick me, because I could see your name in my subscriber list. Listen, folks, there's going to be some pretty nasty weather in the south again over the next couple of days, and we may possibly be looking at a geomagnetic storm from the 18th, 19th, possibly even into the 20th. We may see some increased earthquake activity. So if you live in any of those areas where you do have the seismic activity, be on guard. And you will hear from me tomorrow. We will have another subject, and you can guarantee that. But for now, folks, there's my so-called critique of what you're being shown on this Final Days channel. Take it for what it is. Believe me, don't believe me. That is up to you. Stay safe out there, folks. Keep an eye in the sky. This is Scott from Planet X News. Thank you for watching. And don't send me no more death threats. Over and out, folks.